yeah, we gotta be sitting in the car. She has to be in the back, and we have to be sitting in the front. So there's no eye contact for the entire conversation. We just like, and we're scared to turn around and look behind us, dude. You just feel the tension behind us. Getting ready for that night, like go in the back of your head.
Yep. And you're gonna accept it.
All right, everybody, welcome to Hot Couch Potato, the podcast where we talk about awkward theme songs in video games. My name is Brent, aka Boo Up. I'm here with my man Rick, aka A New Perfect Day. What's going on, man?
Hey, we are, I think, the only closest to getting 151 Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
Really? No one else?
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people are that much closer.
Solved Eric Stennis and Dustin's Pokedex, and I thought they would be like really close, but mainly everyone has like roughly around 147 Pokemon, 148, and I think what tips it over is the Kangaskhan.
Oh, okay.
And then some of them don't have like one of the legendary birds and whatnot, and or yeah, so basically we're in the lead, even though you just came back like 1 month later.
Dude, and I don't even know if I'm counting Mew, because I never caught Mew on the Game Boy games, so I'm not even counting.
Yeah, you did in the first game, right?
No, remember we talked about this, how I went. Did we talk about this, dude? I feel like we talked about this, or I thought the Mew was under that truck by the St. Anne, but it wasn't. They said you had to like learn cut from somewhere else, and then you could push this truck next to the St. Anne, and the Mew was under that truck. Nah, man, that didn't work for me. But yeah, I never caught him when I first beat the game. I think I caught him like the second or third time around on red version or something like that.
Yeah,
but not the first time. So I'm low key not even counting that. I'm just still going through the field research thing for that. But all we need, man, Mr. Mime and Farfetch, dude.
Dude, yep. And then if your boy comes through with that Farfetch, man,
I know, man.
we just need Mr. Mime.
He just hit me today, man, on Instagram, dude. And it looks like he's having a good time out there. I'm jealous. I need to get out to Japan, man.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's enjoying his time, dude. So I can't wait till we go, man. That'll be sick, dude.
Was he able to get Moltres?
I don't know. I didn't ask him about that. He just showed me pictures. I think he's in Akihabara right now, or last night. He took a video of all the lights and stuff. And
yeah,
we're in a fantasy football league together. And the name of his team was Haram Brent or something like that. And I guess there was a picture of Harambe out on the side of a building or something. And he took a video of it and tagged me in it. So I guess it notifies you whenever someone tags you in their live story, whatever. I don't even know how to use Instagram like that. So I just messaged him back. I was like, dude, what the fuck? But nah, it looks like he's having a good time. Like I said, we need to make our way out there, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of Pokemon Go this week, though, man. For me, at least, I think it's the most I've played in a week. Because last weekend, were we out there last weekend for Ho-Oh, or was that 2 weekends ago?
I think it was like 2 weekends ago.
Either way, this is the most I've been to Balboa Park in like years, dude. I mean, I know we live here, but Jesus, dude, like, say it once, I'll say it again. This is a super touristy spot, man. Never realized.
Yeah.
But we did Moltres yesterday, and then a bunch of people had the EX Raid Pass for Mewtwo today.
Today's Sunday.
Yeah, and that was cool, man. Saw everybody come through for their Mewtwo, even though everyone had one already. I guess it's special enough, right, dude?
Exactly. And some people were running late, but they managed to get their stuff.
Cute Terrace House theme song, dude. But no, it was cool, man. I think Rick saw me sweat a little bit, dude. I mean, I have one already.
I know. I was like, I didn't want to like turn my body towards you to, give you that pressure that you don't need. So I was like turning my body away, but I was like kind of glancing down backwards, like, because I wanted to see if you catch it or not. But I think you were saying you're like down to your third Pokeball, and I was like, oh God, I can't look. So I like looked away. Because it was funny, like we were just catching it, and then after I caught it, I was like, yes. And then I was like, wait a minute, how come Brent's very quiet?
For me, I knew it was serious because we were sitting down on a bench, I think, right? Like while we were fighting it. And then as soon as we beat it and we're starting to catch it, Rick's like, okay, I gotta stand up. And he just stood up in front of me, dude. I was like, oh dang, okay, it's serious. And then when I missed, dude, the hitboxes on these legendary Pokemon are ridiculous, dude.
Yep.
Like yesterday, Moltres was kind of crazy finding that hitbox, finding a good sweet spot for it. And then Mewtwo's was just all over the place, man. I threw my first two, what are they, Premier Balls or Master Balls or something?
Mm-hmm.
Threw my first two, as I usually do. Get my little build up on the curveball, throw it up counterclockwise. If you spin your Pokeball clockwise, you're a sicko who does that. Counterclockwise with the throw, and it lands at his feet. Doesn't even touch him. It lands on the ground. I go, oh my god, I just wasted a chance. Second Pokeball goes around. I'm doing my same thing. I throw it, lands at his feet again. What the fuck? All right. I stopped curving the ball from there, man. But no, yeah, it was cool. A little bit stressful. I mean, I didn't really care until I got to like my last 4 Pokeballs left. So I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I need to start paying attention, dude.
That happened to me on the Regirock the same day. I think it was like an hour before the Mewtwo raid, and I was trying to catch Regirock, and I was like, I think I was down to like 5 Pokeballs, and I like threw 4 away. And then I think on like the 4th or 5th one, that's when it like jumped, and I just had to like look up to the sky. And I was like, this is not meant to be. I was like, God, I thought I was good at throwing curveballs, but apparently not.
See, man, and I thought I messed up because I caught that Regirock, so I thought all my luck had just gone there. Because I've done a Regirock raid about 5 times. Today was my 5th time doing it. I've only caught it 3 times. This guy's horrible, man. He's tough to catch, dude.
Yep.
So I definitely understand your frustration, dude. I'm glad I was able to catch it and trade with you.
And trade with you, yes.
That's what I knew. My excuse would have been, if I didn't catch Mewtwo. I caught the Regirock today. Just used all my powers.
Yep.
But that sucks, man. If you, first of all, get the EX raid pass, and then you find a good enough group to beat Mewtwo, and then you just don't catch it, dude, that's fucking horrible, man.
Exactly. It's just like the chances of people even being at the raid, because I went to Seaport and I had a raid for that day and nobody was there.
What?
And I was like, oh my god. So that is a factor. And then after you beat it, or you have to have a good enough team or enough people to even beat it, and like 10 people maybe. And then once you beat it, then the real challenge starts, and that's like trying to capture the thing.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, that sucks even more then, dude. That's like, I just thought that was rough if you don't catch it, but to think if people don't show up either, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, and you have to get invited, so it's like, those things don't come out often, and it's like that you have to have a chance to be able to even try to attempt to capture it. So
yeah. Yesterday I didn't feel too much pressure with maybe until I caught Moltres.
I felt a lot of pressure. I think the first 2 I messed up.
Really? The first
I couldn't capture the first 2.
The first one bugged on me, so I was kind of upset at that. I was like, okay, that's cool. I guess I just wasted a raid pass, And I kept on trying to jump in, and it always kicked me out. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Second one, fortunately, I was able to catch it. I think it took a while, though. Anything that takes more than 5 Premier Balls, I get nervous. Oh man, maybe I'm not gonna catch this dude.
Yeah.
But caught that. I mean, ultimately, I think I went 5 for 6, man. So I caught a bunch of them. No shinies, which is all right, man. I'm not really worried about it.
I think it's because we were blue team.
Really?
So.
I thought we myth busted that today.
I don't know. I think maybe you have a higher chance of encountering a shiny if you're that team. I'm gonna Google it. Pokemon.
Yeah, while Rick does that research. Yeah, I mean, it was cool, man. There was a lot of people out there. I don't remember. I feel like last time during the Ho-Oh raid or maybe the Zapdos raid, all the countdowns were different. Like it spawned in one area at a certain time, then it spawned at another area a certain time. With Moltres, dude, every raid just popped up at the same time for Moltres, man. That's kind of wild.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that was a good time. Definitely not as much people out as Ho-Oh. In fact, I think the most people I ever seen out was for Zapdos. That's the craziest I ever seen it out there.
I think. Oh yeah, you weren't there. So Squirtle was the biggest one. That was like kind of think of like Comic-Con traffic all over.
What? Really?
Yeah, it was that crazy. And then you see everybody like on their phones trying to capture Squirtle and all that.
Ah,
it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
But anyways, we were talking about Mew earlier, man. And to catch Mew, you have to go through 8 sets of field researches.
Yep.
And I was crying because I was at the point where I had to catch a Ditto to complete one of the tasks. And, you know, I've been playing fairly consistently since coming back from Australia. I caught 2 Ditto in Australia, and I caught 1 Ditto, you know, back here in San Diego. But I knew that was going to be the most annoying part, right?
Yep.
And I think I started that part of the quest around Monday. And by Saturday, when we were doing the Moltres raid, I was like really concerned because I wasn't catching anything and I was driving myself crazy, you know. Ditto could be anybody, so I'm out here catching all these Mankey, all these Ekans, all these Pidgey, just everything, dude. I think I still have like 300 Pidgey candy or something from catching all these Pidgey, right? And every time I miss one, I just think to myself, oh, man, that could have been the one. That could have been the Ditto, but I missed it, you know? And it's just going to take me that much longer to find it. So I was kind of going crazy, just a little bit, right? So I reached out when we were driving over to Moltres raid. I was like, Rick, how long does it take, you know, to catch a Ditto? And he was telling me horror stories. I think he told me that. And we asked Crystal, too, how long it took her to catch her Ditto. And she said 3 weeks. And I was already going crazy after 1 week. So I was scared. Yep. I was scared for my personal health, you know. Anyways, we get there. We park in the parking lot at Balboa Park. And there's a Zubat. I think Crystal goes, oh, hey, Zubats can be Dittos too. You should catch that. So I caught it. Wasn't a Ditto. It was just a regular Zubat. Like, whatever, dude. It's going to take me forever. Today's all about Moltres. We'll just do that. We do Moltres raids, and then we need to take a shuttle to go across the street to the next set of gyms so we could raid some more, right?
Yep.
So we're sitting in the bus. It's kind of packed, you know. There's not really too much room. So I'm sitting next to Dennis and Chia, I think. And it's kind of tight in there, so I got my arm around Dennis. I'm just, like, playing Pokemon Go with my left hand, spinning some stops. And we're driving by the parking lot we were in, and another Zubat appears. And I click on it, and I can't play with my left hand, you know? So I tell Dennis, I was like, hey, Dennis, can you throw this Pokeball for me? He throws it, catches the Zubat, and as soon as it goes in the ball, you see the word what appear up top. I almost cried, dude.
I think you like shouted out.
Dude, I know. Like, everyone was staring at me. I was like, man, I'm about to jump out the bus, dude. This is crazy. I can't believe it just happened. You know what I mean? I nearly teared up after that happened. I just knew I was done. And then all that was left was catching 2 more, I think, ghost Pokemon for that step.
Yeah.
But what are the odds, man? Like, what are the odds? If I just didn't click that.
I predicted the future
if
for
I
you.
Didn't tell Dennis, hey, Dennis, throw a Pokeball at this thing. Like, I would still be here. I would be in a much different mood. I would be crying. I'd still be tearing my hair out because it was bugging me. It really was. And I think it's bugging Rick now because he's trying to get a golden Swablu. Like, every time he passes a Swablu, right? And you don't click on it, doesn't it just...
It's a what if, motherfucker.
Just die a little bit inside, huh?
Always have the chances or the thoughts of like making all the U-turns, and I'm like, no, just let it go. Just let it go for today.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So yeah, super meant to be. Rick was telling me that, you know, today's the day, man. You're gonna catch it. And I really wasn't thinking about it, but it's a good thing it happened, man. Because if I was sitting here today without still catching a Ditto after all the Pokemon Go we played for the last 2 days, I would have been a little upset. I would have been a little upset. I would have cried a little bit. Oh man, but it was good. A lot of A lot of hunting going down, a lot of evolutions. I used a lucky egg, leveled up to 29. It is now. But yeah, dude, good times as usual. You get anything crazy during our hunts this weekend?
Yeah, the Regirock you traded to me. Just nothing but at the Moltres, but I didn't get any shinies. And I think in terms of IV, it was Eric that got the perfect Moltres, IV
nice.
Moltres. And I was like, oh, nice. You can now lead all of Team Valor to victory and stuff like that. But yeah, I think mainly I got everything I needed or evolved all the stuff I needed. And I'm just working on the last couple of Pokemon before like Gen 4 comes out. And got to get that Farfetch.
We just saw a list or a picture of a list of the Gen 4 Pokemon. I don't know anybody, dude. The only reason I know Lucario is because of Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. Yeah. Yep. I think that's the first time I saw it too. I was like, damn, I think I'm like outdated in terms of new Pokemon or later Pokemon past like Gen 2.
And I thought he was a legendary Pokemon. Nope, he's just a regular schmegular guy, man.
Yep.
That's kind of wild. But yeah, this was a big week, dude, in video games. Very big week. Some big releases. Dragon Quest 11 came out this week. I know that's got a huge fan base. I mean, there's 11 of these fucking games, so I feel like that's second only to Final Fantasy, which is like 20 of those. So
yeah,
and that's without Dragon Quest Builders. I think there's like a Minecraft game based off of Dragon Quest. Destiny 2 Forsaken came out. I was tempted. I will admit I was tempted to pick it up, but ultimately thought against it, dude. How about you, Rick? Were you tempted to pick it up at all?
Very slightly. I think it was like when I saw the trailer, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe, but then I said, you know what? I don't want to get back into this. And then I think yesterday, it might have been yesterday. I was like watching YouTube videos, and then Destiny popped up in my thing, and it said all of what is the latest DLC's name?
Forsaken?
All of the latest, Forsaken cinematic cutscenes all jammed into one, and it was like in one video, and I was like, okay, let me just check that out. So yesterday for 30 minutes I was watching all of the cutscenes and I was like getting an idea of what was going on and what's happening, and I was like, oh, okay, now I know what the whole DLC is about and how it ended. Great. Okay.
You might have to link me that video, dude. Saved yourself like $60, huh?
Dude, I totally did. As soon as I finished it, I was like, okay, I feel complete. I got the itch off of me. I saved myself $60 and I got to play through the whole story in my mind. But you can tell the cutscenes are pretty cool. In one of the trailers, you already know that your guy talks for a bit, and I was like, man, that would be cool to see my guy talk for a bit, but not $60 cool to talk for a bit. It's just I gotta just send you that link, and I know you're gonna spend like that whole 30 minutes and you're like, yeah, I don't need to buy this game. And I was like, we're reading the comments too, they're like, damn, like $60 for another game of Destiny? Why didn't they just release it all in one thing, for $60? So
because that's not gonna make them any money, bro. That's why, man.
Exactly. So yep, that was my day yesterday.
With Destiny, dude. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I'll admit I was really almost gonna buy it, and that's the reason I would have bought it too. Is just for the story, to kind of tie up that loose end, and they teased that Cade 6 died, so I wanted to see what happened there. My prediction, don't tell me if I'm wrong, my prediction is that Cade 6 is going to become your ghost. That would have been crazy, dude. I was going through some old videos, actually, kind of side note. I was going through some old videos. I was cleaning out one of my hard drives, and I had old Destiny videos on there of when we were playing, when we were first doing the Vaulted Glass raid, doing some crazy cheeses and stuff, and it was weird hearing Peter Dinklage as the ghost, dude. Just completely different,
In the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, I kind of get why they changed him out, but That's crazy how to just write them out completely. Just one day, flip the switch, and it's a totally new voice on the ghost.
Yep.
Um, and then I'm pretty sure, didn't our character talk in Destiny 1 at some point? I feel like he
maybe like Al, but I don't know.
I feel like he asked a question at a certain point when we were in our ship or something. Maybe the first mission.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
We might have to fact check that, dude. We'll have to Google that later. Oh,
Yeah.
what happened with your Google search, dude? Are you more prone to catch shiny Moltres if you're Valor?
Didn't show up anything. It was just giving me guides on how to catch better. I was like, okay, I already got on that level. I already know how to catch, man. I don't need a guide for that. But couldn't find anything. But
Gotcha.
did find that Destiny Forsaken trailer, which I'm gonna link you right now. But you can watch that in your own time.
Wait,
and then I have a couple questions I want to ask on why this, why that.
Oh, after I watch it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. So wait, why? Oh, okay, never mind. You're just linking me. Okay, got it. So one of the things, right, that deterred me from buying Forsaken 2 is because Spider-Man came out this week, man.
Oh, yeah, and I haven't even started it yet.
Are you serious? Dude, I've only played it for 2 hours. But we got our experience in the first, or when we were at PAX, we had a good time with it. So just playing through the story, collecting. I just want to get some new costumes for him, man. That's gonna be sick,
dude.
I'm loving the
Did
game
you
so far.
get the pre-order costume?
Yeah, I think it came with one, right?
Yeah,
I haven't used that yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
I want to
because
see what it looks like.
it's pretty cool actually. I think it's more red, but dude, it's so hard in the age of the internet to avoid spoilers, dude. I go into YouTube and I see a picture of, Spider-Man tips and tricks or Spider-Man final boss fight or something like that,
Yep.
And the friggin' thumbnail is Spider-Man in a black and yellow suit. And I go, oh my god, I'm spoiled already, dude.
Yeah, I think because I read the news and then sometimes I have game news attached and then it was just nothing but Spider-Man. I was like, fuck, I almost avoided it. I almost got away.
They'll reveal some enemies you run into that you didn't know were gonna be in the game and shit, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So I'm trying to savor as much as I can. Like tonight, I'm just gonna be in my boxers, butt naked. I don't know, but with a can of Pepsi, and maybe I'll put it on the big screen, or actually, I'll probably put it in the living room with the high def 4K TV. Even though I don't have a 4K PS4 Pro. Or wait, my nephew does. Maybe I can download it onto his Pro. And play.
Sign in as you. I don't know. That'd be a bad idea, dude. Brilliant man. Brilliant man.
Yep.
But yeah, both Rick and I have not had the chance to play Spider-Man yet because of different games, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But first, another big thing that happened this week in video games is they announced, I think, what's going to be the next big game on PlayStation 4, man.
Red Dead. No?
Nah. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket, dude.
See, you mentioned this before, and I already blocked it out of my memory.
This is gonna be the next one, man. The next like game that's gonna sell 1 million consoles for Sony, man. I think Final Fantasy Pocket is really gonna be the one.
I think people are gonna switch from PS4 Pro to the Switch.
Okay, wait. So explain this to me, man. I sent you the trailer before we started recording, man. Is this basically Final Fantasy 15 but with chibi style characters or what?
It is like someone got high and started animated all the characters, and they didn't even want to move the mouth, so they just got so lazy and got paid $1 million because I think they're trying to upsell the original game itself because maybe they didn't sell a lot, like they got spoiled by the story, and I don't know, I'm pretty salt right now. I got a lot of salt in me. Maybe I had Korean barbecue from salt, but basically, yeah, it looks exactly what you were saying. It's like the story. I was noticing a lot of the scenes similar to the actual game, and I was like, I don't know if they play out the same way, but some of the dialogue, it was like saying, yeah, they got kidnapped, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember them ever being kidnapped.
Mhm.
But it just might be the story in chibi form, in lazy $20 animation style chibi form. Not even great chibi form. It was so bad. It was so bad. It got 50%. It was so bad, dude. I blocked it out of my memory. I totally forgot. Oh god.
Yeah, it looks like it was made in dreams, dude. Maybe that's what the plot twist is, dude. Is that they made it in dreams, which is coming out whenever it's coming out. That'll be their tagline. But yeah,
Shoot.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Why come out with this game if you've already come out with 15? Why in a different art style if you're gonna do a prologue or something like that?
It looks exactly like the game, just cheap. Maybe that's how they illustrate games. They draw it up cheaply, and then they're like, okay, this is how things are gonna happen. Now let's just make it into actual, awesome graphics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still salt that they changed the story. They wiped the whole story of originally what Final Fantasy 14 or 13 verses or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, and I think I talked about this before, but it was supposed to be Romeo and Juliet. They're supposed to be like, it looked like they had love interest with each other, but they're on different sides, of course. And they're fighting each other to the death, and they looked like they were on par with each other. But I think somewhere down the line they said, you know what, let's scrap that storyline. And then since people already saw too much of the trailer of that girl, they said, okay, let's completely revamp her and change her entirely. So they can have this different game with a different story. Like the game, I still give it a solid 8 for the story in the game itself. Definitely recommend. The graphics are beautiful and all that, but I just wish it was the other story. I'm salt.
Okay, wait. In Final Fantasy 15, right? Ultimately, do you have to save the world? Is that what happens?
Oh shit! I even forgot what the story was about. Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe that's
Yes.
why, man. Maybe for it to be a Final Fantasy game, you have to save the world.
But you can't save the world with the other story. Sorta. Yeah.
What,
Yes.
with the Romeo and Juliet storyline? You think you could?
Yeah, like they could have like two kingdom factions. One's gonna blow up the world, and one's gonna save the world. But of course, the girl will be on the blowing up the world side, and you gotta stop her.
Oh, okay. But you love her, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
do I kill her? Okay, I
Yep.
get it. Okay, I get it. That would have been cool. Yeah, I'm just super confused because to me it looks exactly like Final Fantasy 15, but with a different art style. So
Way different.
Yeah.
The mouths are not even moving. It's so bad. I don't even know how they even
Wait,
have
is that what kills
cutscenes.
it? Is that what kills it for you? The mouths don't move in Dark Souls, dude.
Yeah, but still, like, you have your helmet over your head, and you're like, they were more creative.
No, the
They're
graphics
like,
are
oh,
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphics are better in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, so I got it.
Yeah, this one is like you have the camera focusing on their faces, and it's like they're not moving, but they're talking, and it's just, I don't know, that bugs me.
That's true. There's never a close up of a character in Bloodborne or Dark Souls where their mouths don't move while they're talking. In fact, I think in Bloodborne, when they go to that flashback where, remember our adage, fear the old blood or whatever it is, their mouths are actually moving in that cutscene. So, interesting. Maybe you do have a point. Being annoyed at this stuff.
So salt.
But yeah, it looks like it was made in dreams. Speaking of dreams, I forgot to mention last week, man, there was just so much to talk about with PAX. I played Dreams. I got an appointment to play it. Played some multiplayer games, which were funny, some platformers. It looks like mainly the games you can make are platformers with just a different mechanic, a different kind of double jump or something like that. There was this cool game where it started as a side scroller, You know, you were
Mhm.
this guy that was side scrolling, jumping, platforming, and then you fell in a hole or something like that, and it turned into a 3D game. So that was super cool. Playing from 2D to 3D in an environment with the same character, was kind of wild. Um, but I also played a text adventure game where you get to choose like where you go in a house party, you know, and
Mhm.
this it's kind of crazy. You go through this house party and then it leads you up to the attic ultimately, and you go in the attic. There's a monster in there that eats you, and then
What?
yeah, and then you go back to the beginning of the party. You're like, hey, what the hell? I've been here before, you know, and you go through the whole party again, but ultimately, again, it leads you back to the top and you get eaten. You go back to the beginning of when you first arrived at the party. You're like, what the hell is going on, you know? And then you start figuring out as you go along clues on how to kill this monster, what the monster is, just all this shit, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And my demo was only supposed to be like 15 minutes, right? I was only supposed to sit there and play the game for 15 minutes, but I think I ended up sitting there for maybe almost 45 minutes, dude, because the guy that was with me that was, you know, showing me the game and stuff, one of the demo people, he said, dude, I think you're the farthest I've seen anyone get on this game, man. We have to see you beat it. And I was like, oh shit, okay. But ultimately I didn't beat it. There was a few things you had to get items. You had to find items in order to kill the monster. You know, I had to find silver, salt. I had to have a clear mind so I couldn't get drunk. I was just getting caught up, right? Because you had to get salt, you had to take a shot with people. But of course, if you take a shot, you don't have a clear mind, so you go up there and the monster just kills you. He takes advantage of your mind. But without the salt, he kills you too. So it's like Catch 22. So that's the last part I was left on, and I think I restarted like 3 times, you know? I
Mhm.
said, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna beat this dude. And then when I was leaving, the guy was like, yeah, someone, the creator of that game, said it takes like 2 hours to beat. So, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? How was I gonna sit there? I was already sitting there for 45 minutes, and I wasn't
And you
anywhere
almost beat
close.
the game.
Yeah, I know, dude. So it's crazy, but man, I actually am super psyched for Dreams now. I think I'm gonna pick it up for sure, um, just to see what people create in it. You know, the game already comes with pre-packed, I think, games that the developers have made themselves, just to show you the potential of what can be done in the game. And those were fun on their own. Like I said, there was that one game that went from 2D to 3D platforming in the same game, so that was cool. There's some multiplayer games in there, like Mario Party type games, so those are cool as well. But the fact that they created a what do you call it, a text adventure game is kind of crazy. I was asking him too because what really makes the text adventure game great is the music that's playing, right? Because you're at a party, so there's like uh rave music playing in the background, and then I think there's an option where you can go outside to the backyard. It kind of muffles the sound of the music, you know, and I'm like, man, if they made this in Dreams, how do you manage that? Like, do you have to
Yeah.
create your own music, or can you find music and then adjust the volume depending on like a choice someone makes? So it'll be interesting when it comes out. I mean, I've always said the easy way to explain what Dreams is, because to be honest, I don't think they've ever done a good job explaining what Dreams does until they've shown that you could build levels and stuff. But it's just Gary's mod, you know, on PlayStation 4. So we'll see, man.
That
I'm low key excited.
and I think it probably was started from Little Big Planet.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, because they're the same
mm,
creators too, right?
yeah, a million there was like a million levels that people created and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think also was they noticed was Mario, I forgot Mario
Oh yeah,
Maker,
yeah, yeah.
and there's like I think over a million also levels in that too. So yeah, I guess right now it's a thing to start making levels or to have actual people actually be making levels themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's cool. I am only worried about is the difficulty on levels. There's always those trolls that will try to make
Oh man, yeah,
difficult,
yeah,
like levels that you need to spend hours looking for like a key on the
yeah.
floor, or, stuff like that. So if they can adjust that accordingly, then yeah, I think it'd be great.
As long as there isn't every game like that, then I'll be fine. Cause yeah, there are those Mario Maker levels where the whole floor is just spikes and there's just one turtle there that you have to keep bouncing on to get across the spikes, dude. I've definitely seen those
Exactly.
levels. Yeah, yeah. So I think hopefully there'll be a good mixture of both. I want to think that people will be a lot more creative on this thing. So tell me this, man. In Little Big Planet, were the levels pretty similar? How they made them, or were they pretty diverse?
It was pretty diverse,
Oh, okay.
and the thing is, it was people would like base it off of theme, certain things like a scary theme or
Mm,
like Mario or like things like that. But they got so creative with all of the basic tools. They were like
mm-hmm.
making things come out 3D. They were making like I don't know, like computers that were moving inside from the environment. It was something. It was just like a dynamic environment,
Mm-hmm.
and so Little Big Planet 2 came out, and then they gave them more tools, and then people started making more things. And it's just, you have these basic tools, but people's imagination is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping, like, if Dreams catches on, then, you're going to have ultimately like infinite amount of full games
Yeah.
to be playing, and all you need to do is just patent the idea and sell the idea, and it's just like golly, Dreams can be a like an engine, like a U3 engine or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. That's what I'm excited for, is just people's imaginations and what they'll be able to create using this tool. I think will be sick. Because there's so many games you could play on Gary's Mod too, right?
Yep.
Like, I think a version of Dead by Daylight started there. Prop Hunt started in Gary's Mod. I think there is a Mario Party mode on there. There's just a lot to do here. I know a lot of jump scare games started on there too. Just those
Boo.
simple indie ones on Steam. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. We'll see where people take us on that one. Sorry, I just forgot to talk about it last week, and then it just reminded me now with um just the way that Final Fantasy 15 Pocket looks. Um, so I think we can confirm Rick not a fan of Pocket.
No. Yes. No. Thumbs down all the way. I don't know. You can visually imagine it, but I'm gonna draw a level of dreams of my thumb going down for for that game. Oh
Oh
my
man.
god! Like
Uh,
just play the game. It's like $30 on Steam for the actual
for
game. So
yeah,
I
for Final
don't, I
Fantasy.
don't know why you want to buy like a dumbed down version of it, or
Hmm.
what's the appeal to it? Maybe children want to get into that
I
game. I don't know.
think no, I think you're right. I think maybe they're gonna give it to Nintendo Switch, man. I mean, Nintendo Switch
Ooh,
has been the highest selling console. To not have your game on Switch would kind of be crazy, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see, man. Um, but yeah, dude. So, what's been your excuse for not playing Spider-Man?
Messenger. I had to finish that game. I think we got pretty addicted when we
At
saw the
PAX.
guy playing at
Oh
PAX.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Messenger, and it was on a big screen. And then the guy was like doing Ninja Gaiden moves, jumping around, and then he like finished him off with a Ninja Star, and that got me hooked. So I ended up downloading the game. We both ended up downloading the game
Mhm.
as soon as we got back to the hotel. Been playing that for a little bit, and then I thought we beat the whole game when we got through all the maps.
Mm.
But then, at the end, there's more tasks that you have to do, and it opens up the maps, like all the maps you can explore. But then apparently, there's like certain areas that are not linked to the maps that you went through previously. So it was just interesting to like go through all these levels, and then there's like different more mechanics. You kind of get an extra skill later, and that kind of changes a little bit of your gameplay. And so when you're going through all these levels, there's more dialogue between all of the NPCs. There's like more story mode going on, and I thought when we went through all 5 levels that was it, but there's like a greater purpose of you have to go collect something, and then finish your story as the
Hmm.
messenger. And that's what made it pretty sick. I think I finished the game about like 30 minutes before starting the podcast. So,
Okay.
I was
Okay.
kind of rushing it so I can play Spider-Man. Because in Spider-Man, dude, when I played the demo, I didn't want to admit, but I was getting tore up in the demo. I think in the beginning the tutorial where you have to like go down and fight all the guys, and they all have guns or whatnot. Like I didn't know how to fight for shit. I think one time I like ran in a bunch of people. There's like 6 people, and I was like, I'm just gonna punch my way out. I think someone punched me to the ground, and then like all 5 of them just started kicking me and punching me and shooting me. And I was like, oh my god, I hope nobody saw that.
Just like stomping you out, dude.
Yeah. So, I was like, you know what? I need to tackle this, a better way. So I started pulling everybody in the air. And then I was like, yeah, I feel more safer in the air.
Jesus, man. Because, yeah, that was my thing. I didn't know you could shoot web at people and get them tied up until after my game crashed the first time and I was playing around the second time. I think I just totally skipped that tutorial little prompt box. But yeah, I think you press R1 or something to go and shoot web around somebody and then they'll get trapped. I was not doing that my first playthrough around. So there's a lot to pick up. I think there's a lot to do in Spider-Man as far as Spider-Man's actions and things like that. But it's not too crazy complex to pull any of this stuff off. You don't need to do too many button inputs to shoot a web at somebody and swing and then kick them. So I think they did a good job of making it very fluid, and you're able to improvise on your attacks a little bit like Batman, a lot like Batman actually. So it feels super smooth. So that's awesome. But going back to the messenger real quick, kind of crazy how the game just totally changes halfway through it, right? Because you go through, at least so far what I've played, I thought we were done with the game. You're just a side scroller the whole time, run into a boss, fight the boss, next area, side scroll. You're just always running to the right, or maybe up and right or down and right. But you're always going to the right. And then something happens in the game, and all of a sudden you're in like a Castlevania where you got to actually explore the maps. So.
Exactly. Everything opened up. I thought it was like gonna be a pain in the butt to continue, but then there's like actually other features that happen in the game that keep you more invested and to keep going. Like I thought it was like, okay, I just gotta keep collecting this and this and this, but in reality, it's like, oh crap, I need this. Oh man, I can't progress because of this. Oh, I need to do this, it's like, oh, okay. So the dynamics of the game kind of change, especially like you were saying, like it's not going from left to right anymore. It's like actually going left, right, up, down.
Yeah.
EA, BA, start.
Because you gotta actually explore now and look for certain items in places you haven't looked before. I mean, the first time you go through some of these levels, you don't have the grapple hook yet. You don't have some of your abilities, so now that you have these abilities, you can go through certain areas now. So
and it changes the map too, like when you, like I was saying, you go from the past to the future kind of thing. So
interesting, dude. And how hard is the last boss fight?
I still think that other demon that we faced was pretty challenging, because I think I died a lot. This guy, I think, because I don't know, the levels get progressively harder, and jumping and timing and everything, that I got so good at all that. Yeah, I'm good. That I was actually, doing the boss fight pretty good. Yeah. Like without that training initially, going all the way, I think you have an easier time with that boss.
I don't know about that. I haven't played the game in maybe 3 days. All of my
timing is
gone, dude.
Still?
Nah, dude, my reflexes are gone.
Yeah. It's good.
The Messenger's a good example of good gameplay, right? The controls are tight, and when you want to do something, it does it, and you react how you react. Like I think we said last week, you can only be frustrated at yourself if you keep dying at
because you suck.
Messenger. Yeah, because you suck. It's not because the game is hard. It's because you suck. You have all the tools you need to beat the game, but your reactions, you're just too slow.
It's
So
just too slow.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. So I think that's cool. It's gonna
I,
take me a little bit to catch back up and get my reflexes back.
Dude, once you do, I was like slicing every projectile that was coming out my way, like instinctively. Like I
Mhm.
would like transition to the next map, and then all of a sudden there's a projectile in my face, and I would just like instantly slash it away. And I was like, "Yeah, I got this." Uh,
That's funny, dude. Now, see, on the other side of the spectrum, the reason I haven't played too much of Spider-Man since it got released yet, because I've been playing Beyond Two Souls. I've been trying to finish it because I started it last week, and I just got super invested in the story, man. Um, and I'll say this: we talked about how the messenger has great controls, high and tight. If you want to
mhm.
do something, you can do it at the press of a button. Beyond Two Souls is completely the opposite, dude. This is just horrible controls, horrible gameplay. The camera sucks. There's these quick time events if you're in a fight where Ellen Page is punching and you have to move the joystick in the direction she's punching to complete the punch, dude. But half the time you don't know which way she's punching. I don't know. The tutorial tells you to move the joystick with the momentum she's moving her body, and it's completely the opposite the entire rest of the game, dude, after the tutorial part. So I was failing a bunch of these quick time events and stuff because of this fucking joystick, dude. It was so broken, man.
But how was the story?
That's what it is, man. This is a horrible, horrible game, but it's a great cinematic experience, I think. Would it have been better as a TV show or a movie? Maybe, actually. It might have. Better than a video game. Because, like I said, I was failing a bunch of these quick time events. For example, there's this part where I'm being hunted by the police, and I'm on a train. I end up on the roof of the train, and I'm fighting these three guys, right? And I fail
Mhm.
every other quick time event with this joystick. Get knocked down, and they arrest me. You know, they lock me in a car, but I'm still able to escape and jump out of the train. And then when I jump out of the train, it seems like I never got caught at all. You know, so there's
Mm.
in some way there's really no real way to fail, right?
Uh-huh.
It's kind of it removes a lot of the tension from it. You know, once I realize that no matter how much I mess up, I'm not gonna fail. I'll still be able to get out of the situation clean, right? Maybe I'll miss out on a trophy or something, but that's not really the reason I'm playing this game anymore. Um, Cause yeah, there was a part too where I'm finding. There's a quick rundown of the game, right? Your Ellen Page, she has this soul that's attached to her. It's like a poltergeist. It can move stuff. It can control people. It can
Ew.
kill people. All this stuff. Yeah, it can possess people. Um, so it's kind of crazy. For example, if she's in a room and she's locked in a room, the ghost or her spirit that she's attached to can go through the wall, unlock the door for her, and all this stuff, right? Um, Dang, I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Is the ghost like an actual ghost? Like you does she conversate with it basically?
Yes. Are you gonna play it, dude?
Nah,
All
it's
right,
too
dude.
scary.
I'll just spoil it. So, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert for Beyond Two Souls. If you're gonna play it, skip like 10 minutes or something, dude. Skip, 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 skip. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So, it the ghost is her twin brother. Um, when she was
Ah.
born, she was one half of a twin. When she was born, her brother got strangled by his umbilical cord, so he died. But his spirit was always attached to her. So his name is Aiden, and you don't find this out until the very end, of course. It's like kind of the big reveal, which is why I think it's great because they don't explain that shit at all. Like, why does she have this spirit following her and helping her out? Like, how does she know what his name is? Because ever since she was a little girl, she's had these abilities and stuff. Why is she doing this? Why does she know his name is Aiden? All this stuff, you know what I mean? And they don't reveal until the very, very end that it's her brother. And there's actually a point where you can, because he's invisible, right? He's a ghost, but there's a point where you could see him. Oh, dude, one of the greatest. I'm saying, if it was a TV show or a movie, that was one of the greatest moments in cinematic history ever. I think just that reveal would have been amazing, you know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so then, you know, you're in this government program as a kid all the way until you're an adult, where they try to study what the hell Aiden is and what happens, and then there's like this, oh man, I want to say it's the Department of Paranormal Activity. Like, that's the agency that's studying you, and you don't find this out until halfway through the game too. So then that's when it starts making sense, like, oh, what the hell, okay, so it's not aliens, she's not a psychic, but it's like ghosts and stuff, you know. So
Mhm.
throughout the game, they're trying to militarize the
Her
ghosts.
power?
Yeah, they're trying to militarize her power. So you end up joining the CIA, doing assassination missions and things like that. The reason you're getting hunted down is because you assassinate someone and you don't agree with it, so you just run away. So everybody's trying to chase you. And just rampage and fucking kill everybody, dude. I think there's this part where there's a helicopter chasing you, and you just you possess the helicopter pilot and make him crash into a gas station. It's fucking crazy, dude. It gets kind of wild.
Damn.
But yeah, so they're trying to militarize it. So how they attempt to do that is they try to open up, like, they call them rifts into they call it the infra world, or I guess the afterlife, where they can try to grab souls and connect them to people and all that. It gets kind of wild at the end. Willem Dafoe, oh man, what a performance in this thing. One thing I will compliment, aside from the story, is the graphics, dude. I think this originally came out on PlayStation 3, so on PlayStation 4 it's kind of remastered, but the graphics are great. And I think because the graphics are great, because the faces look so real on the characters, that makes
Mhm.
the performances even better. You know, you can see the emotions and things like that in the characters, so they're so good. But Willem Dafoe's character is great. You know, he starts out as the lab technician dude that's testing you and figuring out what Aiden is and stuff, and then in the end, his family dies and he hijacks the whole program for himself. You know, he's not trying to militarize the ghosts anymore. He's just trying to get his wife and daughter and bring them back from the dead. So you kind of have to stop him. So it gets kind of wild, man. The story gets kind of crazy. And then what else is great about that? The only thing I think for real that sucks is that it's a video game. Like, the
Yeah.
controls suck. It's not fun to play through. There's no sense of urgency, or, you know, there's no impending feeling of danger because you can't fail, you know.
Mhm.
Your choices, they kind of matter. I think your choices only matter depending on how much you care about certain characters, because your choices will affect whether characters live or die. Oh, the music. The music's amazing too. When I was playing this game, all I was thinking about was, man, that sounds a lot like The Dark Knight. Oh, that sounds a lot like Inception. Oh, that sounds a lot like Interstellar. And of course, you know, the composer for the music for all those movies is Hans Zimmer. He did the music for this game too.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of crazy, man. And after, you know, hearing the music, it is like the writer for Beyond Two Souls. He like watched Inception one day and was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna make a video game that's almost like that." You know what I mean? Because in Inception, they dream and they are thrown into these different environments, you know, when really they're like office job people, right? So all of a sudden they're teleported to a snowy mountain. Oh, all of a sudden they're teleported to, I don't know, an office building with people with guns and shit. I feel like in this game he kind of had the same idea. Oh, let's throw her in, you know, war-torn Africa and have her assassinate people. Oh, let's throw her in the woods and have her kill a bunch of cops. Oh, let's put her in the desert and now she's fighting Navajo spirits. And I think he had ideas of scenes in his head, and he's like, yeah, we'll just connect it through some bullshit ghost story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me it was worth it playing through it because I'm really into movies. I'm a movie nerd, and that's why I think it was a great cinematic experience. As a game, it's kind of trash, I'll be honest. That being said, I'm more interested, I think we talked about this earlier too, I'm more interested in playing Detroit Become Human, because it's the same people. I just hope they figured out what to do with the controls, dude. If they didn't improve that, then shit. R.I.P. man.
What about, would you play the game if it was in VR?
Maybe, because so there's multiplayer in this game actually, right? In the game itself, you can switch between controlling Ellen Page or, dude, I keep on calling her Ellen Page. That's how you know. Her name is Jodie. Her name is Jodie in the game. You can switch between controlling Jodie or controlling Aiden. And that's pretty cool because you're controlling a ghost. Like I said, you could go through walls and stuff. But multiplayer is one person controls Aiden and one person controls Jodie. So one person can be the ghost, One person can be the ghost, like knocking down doors, opening up paths. And one person just controls Jodie and walks through everything, you know? That being said, I think it would be cool as VR if you're controlling Aiden. That would be pretty sick. Because then you just float around everywhere, go through walls and stuff, and then you can use one of the controls to move stuff in the room and everything like that. That would be pretty sick. What, did they mention they're going to do that or what? You're just thinking in your head.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah, that might be a reason to get VR, man, is for us to play through that. Because it's kind of cool when you control Aiden, or they show you at the end of every, I guess, cutscene or vignette, which is kind of crazy. The pacing on that was kind of weird because there would be some settings or some scenes that took maybe an hour to get through, right? And then there would be some scenes that you could finish in 3 minutes. So the pacing was super weird. Like you would do this crazy CIA training that took a long time, and then you would flashback and play as Ellen Page as a little girl cutting an orange or something, and then that's the whole scene. And you're like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
That was a hard decision, man.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's an integral part in the story. It explains some tendencies, but it's the pacing of it is just super duper weird. And I think I mentioned last week they got a version where you could play through the story chronologically instead of jumping to these different points in her life. So that's pretty cool. The thing that's kind of weird is she has all kinds of powers with Aiden, and sometimes they reveal what the powers are in one of the vignettes, and then you do a flashback to when she's first learning it, and you go, okay, wait, why am I learning this? I already know that she could create a shield around her or something, you know? So
yeah,
it's kind of weird. The pacing's super weird. But the story, I think how they presented it works. The checkpoints are just super duper weird. And the cool thing is, you know, as you're playing through these, you learn how to use Aiden more. So I think there's this time where my parents in the game are dropping me off to the clinic to be studied by Willem Dafoe and his homie. And I'm just, you know, Ellen Page, I forget I can control Aiden. I'm just standing in the room waiting for them to come back. And then at the end of the mission, it, you know, like I said, it shows you the percentage of the choices you made. There was one at the bottom that said, did you spy on your parents and Dr. Whoever? And I go, oh man, I totally could have listened to their conversation if I chose Aiden and kind of went through the wall to hear what they were talking about, you know?
Yeah.
So every mission from that point, I was listening to everybody's conversations, man. Like no matter what, if it was something stupid, you know, I met this family for the first time and I was wondering what they thought of me after I left the room. I immediately chose Aiden and went back in the other room. Of course, they're not talking. So it's pretty funny, man. But no, the game is good. I had a good time with it, at least story-wise. Like I said, I'd be really interested to see the improvements, if they've made any, on Detroit Become Human. I don't think I've ever seen that game go on sale, dude.
So it's still full price?
Yeah, I think it's still $60. Meanwhile, I think God of War has dropped to 40. And I think, because I almost bought Assassin's Creed, man, because it was $40. It was for like the gold version.
For the one in Egypt, right?
Yeah. I almost pulled the trigger on that one, man. But just I have to play Spider. If I buy that and play it for 2 minutes, I'm gonna completely forget about Spider-Man, dude.
I know.
I can't add to the backlog, man. We were talking about that earlier today too, about how, you know, you hear about people that are stay at home, work from home, or they're retired and they get bored. Bro, I don't think I'd be bored at all. I would just tackle my backlog, man. And like wait for you guys to get out of work and then hang out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now we know what you're gonna do when you're a millionaire.
Shit, I know. But see, like I said, when we, or like I've been saying, when we retire, it's gonna be all VR games. We won't be able to play it. Shit, Rick, you could barely play VR games now, dude. Your knee would just throw you off, bro. It'd just be fucking horrible, man. We'll be old, too old to play.
I'll be in VR unless my knee goes out in VR. Oh, but I was like thinking too. I was like, man, if Dreams is that great, maybe we can create City of Heroes. I don't know.
Dude, that'd be tight. That'd be tight. I don't know what the multiplayer things is gonna be like on there, but
maybe we'll just create like a mission where we're just like going through one of those those generic missions.
Yeah.
Beat the boss, defuse the bomb.
And we could choose through maybe 5 or 6 different kinds of heroes. Or yeah, you could choose which archetype you want to play. Healer, you want to play blaster, scrapper, tank, mastermind, controller. That'd be tight. That would be tight, dude. See, now I want to do that. And shout out to everyone that's trying to revive City of Heroes, man. I go on the Reddit maybe every other month just to see what's going on in there. You know, that's where I found Paragon Chat. And there's this new movement called SEGS, SEGS, where they're just really trying to bring it back. We've played through a little bit of Paragon Chat, and you could just fly through the cities pretty much and teleport through different maps. And I don't know, I think people RP in it or whatever. But in this new game, I think they're up to a point where you can go into Atlas and fight things, I think. I haven't downloaded it yet or have really looked too much into it, but I think they're at the point where you could play the game a little bit, at least a mission or two. So shout out to them, man. Of course, it's like 5 dudes in their spare time coding this all together. So and that's big work, man. Hopefully one day.
Why don't we just get the code from NCSoft?
Oh yeah, because they'll never sell it, dude. They're pride.
Exactly. Let's just buy it off of them. If I was a millionaire, I'd buy it off of them.
Nah, dude. Even if you're a millionaire, I don't think if you told them I'll buy it for $1 billion, they probably wouldn't sell it to you, dude.
Shit.
That Asian pride, where it's, you know, what if you buy it and you make more money than they did off of it? That'll just eat away at their soul, dude. You know.
What if we give them something they wanted?
Like what, our firstborn? I don't know what you would give them.
I was going to make a joke, but then I was like, that joke's going to turn back on me. Never mind.
Okay.
I future-proofed myself.
Future-proofed myself. But yeah, NCSoft is just trash in general, man. I think they shut down WildStar, which was another MMO that they had. That was like a sci-fi shooter-based MMO. Well, not shooter-based, but it was just like a regular MMO, but in space. So RIP to them too, man. It's kind of crazy. Every game they've had is shut down recently. That game where they had Statesman in a MOBA shut down as well. So yeah. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, man. They're just out of touch, dude.
Yeah, I'm like looking through their website. Yeah, I don't want to work for these guys.
I think they said too, I was reading that they like wiped all the City of Heroes servers and repurposed them for Guild Wars, I think. So even if they did bring it back, all our stuff will be gone, dude.
Well, I don't mind if our stuff is gone. I just want to replay like all the missions together, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's very true. Just 6 blasters doing a mission, dude.
No, 6 healers
all the time. 6 healers.
No one would die. We would just punch them to death.
Oh man, but yeah. But yeah, I think that's it, dude. Anything else you got, man?
Messenger is an awesome game. Definitely recommend you play it.
Nah, dude, no. I gotta get into Spider-Man. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like once we're done right now, actually, is play more Spider-Man. So hopefully next week we could talk a little bit more about it, dude.
I know. I think everybody is already on it, and I'm like, damn. I think we're the last two.
Dude,
that
I know.
we're kind of behind.
And it's actually in our PlayStations, dude. So fuck.
Yep.
I gotta get
Ready
on
to
this
go.
shit. Oh man, but yeah. So hopefully more Spider-Man next week. We'll be talking more about that. But until then, Rick, some words of wisdom.
You taught me a very important lesson today. You said that if you're ever down on your luck or your knee, that $10 is $10.
Oh,
so now I know. So now I know.
I totally forgot to mention that. Shit, RIP. See you guys next week.